Welcome to my 10th episode of my vlog. Today is a very special day. We're in the middle of our holiday season, and as I mentioned, it is number 10 of my vlogs. So I was actually putting a lot of effort into it to think, okay, how can I make it special? And then I came across a blog in the internet of a guy who is using the newly available N series. It's a new server available in Azure that has a GPU in it, where he installs Overwatch and then streams it to his laptop, but to basically use the power of the cloud to run it on a, let's say, low-end laptop and play the game. Sadly, I couldn't make it work. I know it works because the guy posted the video of him playing it. I'm gonna put the resources in my description, but that's the reason why I had to come up with something new. And then I remembered, we're in the middle of the season where we like to reflect back what happened this year, but also to look forward and imagine, okay, where do we want to be a year from now? What do we want to change, etc. So today I decided to give you some food for thoughts, or let's say food for imagination, of what we call Microsoft's set of cognitive services, which is like building block that you can leverage to supercharge your applications and make a whole new dimension. Really, it's going to blow your mind, I believe. So I have here an app that is called Intelligent Kiosk. This is basically an app that Microsoft internally built that we can demo these products. And when I click here on demo, you can see there is a whole different set of demos available. Now when we click here, for example, the holiday photo booth is for sure always a burner on Christmas party with your teams. You can see how it takes my picture and then adds some holiday cheer to it. In this case, I'm reindeer. But the funny thing is, it doesn't just work by myself, it also works with multiple faces where you can make group pictures. So as you can see with my wife, let's see what it does now. Oh, look at this, we're now both smart Santa. Pretty cool. So you can see, or you could say, this is really nice, cool to have, but it's for kids. It's not really for grown-ups or for business use. But think about if you were like, tourist office and you run this nice place in the mountains or on the beach, and you would make like where you have the map where I can find where is what. You have like a photo booth where I can make a picture of myself. It puts like a typical Swiss head of me, or, I don't know, a swimming suit or a surfboard around me, and then I can share it with my friends where everybody's like, oh man, I really should go to Miami or to Barcelona or to Zurich or to St. Moritz. That could be, for example, something you could do, but you can also do it for business places. There's a lot of options that you can do with that besides the funniness of spreading some holiday cheer. But there are other things, for example, the Bing News Analytics. This whole app just uses a very few of the available cognitive services. So for example, we can search here for Christmas, and then we see, for example, it searches what is being talked about Christmas in the news right now and what's the sentiment. So we see 77% is a thumbs up, so it's positive what is talked into news, and then they have 23% that is not so good. We can do this with all kinds of different words. We could do it, for example, also for Microsoft and see how Microsoft's standing is. Now think of this, we can do this with the news, but we can also do it with social media. So let's say you're a manufacturer of children's toys or of gadgets, which are kind of toys for me, and now you release something, and around Christmas you want to see how do people interact. What's the sentiment in social media? What's the sentiment in the newspaper around your company, around your brand? These are very easy things you can do with these cognitive services, and it's really easy to implement. So we see with Microsoft we're currently at 66% positive. This is because Santa didn't arrive everywhere in the world yet, but I'm sure it's going to go up when they see all the new toys they got from Microsoft. And when we look, for example, let's say the weather, we in Switzerland would like to have snow, but we know currently there is no snow. So let's see what people talk about weather. Oh, look at that, 66% of the news currently is negative. So when I go back here in the overall library, you see we have all kinds of different things. I'm not going in each one of them, but one that I think is really cool is also the mall kiosk. The mall kiosk takes a picture of me. I have to click here, take a picture. And then it says I'm 38 in this slide, and actually gives me a product recommendation for a cordless drill. Now let's see what it says when my wife comes into the picture. Oh, look at that. It says I should really take her out once again. Funny, I probably should. But she's a good chef, so that's why I like to eat home. No, of course, I take her out again. So you see, if you look at this application, there's a lot of things that you could think of that this could be nice with. I just tried to sell it this afternoon to my brother saying, hey, if we would populate age data of people that buy cars with you, and then historically what they bought, I could make an app that easily predicts when people walk in, say, this is your car based on a certain set of criteria. Now he said the problem is with cars is if a person is 25, he could have the the need for a family car or not. But this is definitely something we could build in where he can then decide family version if you have a family or if you're not having a family. So let's quickly look at one other. We have, for example, the RealTime Video Insights. RealTime Video Insights allows you to take a video stream, could be online, could be uploading yourself, and it also identifies individuals in it. It shows you the age of these individuals and the sentiment of their talk, if it's neutral, positive, or negative. Now you can pretty much just go here and select anything. As you see, I've run some of the things already. So you could, for example, say, let's take the last one, which was the Microsoft HoloLens partner. And then basically when you let it run, it goes through. And then as soon as there's a speaker like this lady, it will recognize them. As you see, female 54, it says neutral, and it walks through, and it does that now for every speaker. But to run the full analysis, you have to let it walk through. So this could be helpful if, like, afterwards you're going to do review of video recordings that you did of an event or a party or of a speech. But let me show you what is really interesting. So if I stop this right here and I say here in the demo section, real-time crowd insight. For this, I'm also going to ask my wife to come back. You will see it's going to recognize my face. It shows you different age than before, but it also says I'm neutral. So if we take my wife and then she smiles, for example, it says neutral, then it will change to happy. If I go like, it should go to, oh, that was my surprised face, not angry. But as you can see at the bottom, it shows you how many of which age population and angry. Now think about how that could be funny if you make your next product announcement and you see if the media actually is surprised, or if the media is happy, or if the media is whatever. You can see it right here, but it can also be for safety on big events, sports events, or on the airports, where you can see how is the sentiment, what age population, and can actually help or improve a lot. So this has been just a few. As you can imagine or see here, there is face effects and other things that you can leverage, but a lot of these applications have also been public available. For example, if we change here to the Microsoft Cognitive Services website, you see there is like a few examples, and there is a few apps. Uber uses Face API, that you actually can start fetch, recognize, and classify dogs by breed, etc. And as I was scrolling through this, I found, for example, the video breakdown, and because this is my 10th episode, I uploaded my first episode. And what this video breakdown does is basically it analyzes my video that I upload. It makes basically outlines the text for me. It taglines it, so it's easy for me to search for something. So let's say I need a video for this. I can search my whole library, I find it, but it also shows me the sentiment of when I did it. I will publish my first blog, so you can see what the results is if you want, and I also added onto the blog and into the description the link to it, so you can look how it looks from the back end. But let me show it to you. So here we go. So here's mine. Currently it's set on private. I'm gonna make it public. So you can see it recognizes me as the speaker. It shows you here that I must have some negative. I checked it out. I don't completely agree with it at all, but that's what the computer said. Then there's where I'm positive happy, but then I can also look at my transcript of the whole speech. You can see it outlines it. It would also allow me then to use it, closed capture basically, for when I want to distribute it again, but it makes it most of all searchable for me to really manage it all. So this is very helpful, especially if you have lots of media content or inside of your company and I'm looking for a speech about these products or about this demo, and then you find it very easily and you can use it. Again, these are all services, mainly just APIs that you can easily access. So let me show you quickly on the cognitive websites. These were the applications we just talked about. When I click API, then you see a set of APIs that are available and super easy to implement and literally supercharge your application. But let me show you one more. The caption bot basically is describing what he sees on the picture. You upload the picture, you show him a picture, and he can tell you what is on it. So we're not taking the pre-finished. You could insert an URL of a picture, or you can, for example, give him a picture. So let's give him a picture of a landscape in Switzerland and see what he does with it. So now he's uploading it, he's analyzing it, and then he should give me a description. This can also help me to catalog my personal pictures, right? If I could do that through all my folders that I have pictures in, it will make it much easier to find something again. You see, he says, I think it's a view of a mountain on a grassy hill, and he's right. It is exactly that. But let's give it another try. Upload a photo. Let's see, this picture was taken, I think it's now 2 years ago, on the trip to the US with 2 colleagues from Microsoft, where we went horseback riding in the Mount Rainier National Park. It was beautiful, I can totally recommend it. And here, let's see what the caption bot said. He says, I think it's a group of people riding horses on a dirt road, and he seems happy. Now think about it, as it can describe what it sees, how helpful it is. There is a programmer, a developer at Microsoft. He is blind, and he's using that kind of technology in a set of glasses that allow him, that the glass describes to him what it sees. It's actually pretty cool, and you definitely should check out his video. I will also add it. So all this, super easy to implement. It supercharges your app. I hope it gave you some food for imagination, that you can think, okay, how could I implement any of these things? I mean, really, with all these APIs, think about what is possible. So I hope it helps you with your imagination of what you could do next year, how you could, with technology, impact, drive your business, kickstart your career, or even create a new business. And please keep your feedback coming. I receive more and more feedback, and I highly appreciate it. I want to say thank you for taking the time to watch me. I hope you enjoyed my 10th episode and that it was something special. And I look forward to talk to you soon, in a week again. And until then, I wish you the best of holiday seasons with you and your family, that you have time to enjoy each other and celebrate. Thank you.